Okay, we're recording.
All right.
Go ahead, Brenda.
All right. Well, here I am for part 2. I decided on this one that I would go over the questions that you sent me. And I first need to apologize for the document. After I printed it out, I couldn't read it. So I'll be sending Janet. Another copy that's larger. So you don't have to squint or use your glasses, hopefully. So I apologize for that. And thank you for submitting those. Those really did help because they brought up some other areas of concern for me and things that I want to pass on. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first question. Janet, do you want to change this to the PowerPoint?
I don't know how to do that. Don't you do it on yours? Isn't it an app function key that you change on yours? It's nothing that I change with this. Isn't it a function key on your part? Or is it?
Yeah, it's on your computer.
Do you have it? Well, she's got it connected. Yeah.
Do I have to do something here, Steve?
Try display.
I don't think so. I think
Display?
if you just do it on the computer, it should just switch up there.
Oh, I'll hit display.
I thought Bernie used the remote.
I did too.
I thought the display just does this for us.
Split screen.
Yeah. Where's the camera? Let me go get Bernie. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that's what he does. Over the laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? There you go.
Okay. All right, the first question. Not all windows can be resized. Is there a way to adjust those windows? There is not a way to adjust the windows that don't allow you to. And when you look at the lower right-hand corner of your windows, for example, mainly what you're going to find is a dialog box.
Oh, you got it?
Got it.
Never mind, they got it. Okay.
In the right-hand corner, you're going to see either nothing or you're going to see what little either dashes or little lines right here in the corner. If you see those dashes or dots, then you can click and drag on that corner and make your window bigger. If you don't see dashes or little dots over here, you're not going to be able to see the window. So let me just bring one up for you. All right, on my home screen, in my groupings here, whenever there's a little arrow in the lower right-hand corner, you can click on that and you're going to get a dialog box that's very familiar to you. However, when you look in the lower right-hand corner of this window, there's no sizing dash or dots, so I cannot change that at all. So that window cannot be resized. Okay, if I can get another. Let's go this way. If I do a file open, again, I'm going to get another dialog box. But if you see in the lower right-hand corner, you can't see it very well, but I do have just some little dots. And also when I rest my cursor on the corner, I get the double-headed arrow. I didn't get that before. So to know if you can resize your window or not, look for an indicator. Otherwise, rest your cursor on the corner, on the edge, and you'll get double-headed arrows. As soon as you see those double-headed arrows, then you know your window is resizable. All right. I hardly ever use my C drive. Is there a way to change the default in Windows Explorer to open the drive I use most? And yes, there is a way. What you're going to do is we need to change this directory right here. So if yours is at C:, and you want to change it, you can change it to H:, work, and that is my documents location. Or if you wanted to just go to the N drive or another common drive that you use, you can enter that as well. Now, where do you find that? On the Start menu, whenever you press down Start, right above there's a Search, Programs, and Files, and it's easiest just to start typing Windows Explorer in. This is also a good search for any other thing that you're looking for. If you're looking for another program, the snipping tool, or there was another one that I pointed out. Your sticky notes. If you're looking for some of those programs that you can't see in the Start menu, you can just search for them in that location. All right, so once I see Windows Explorer, I'm going to right-click on Windows Explorer. This context menu shows up. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to Properties. And here I have where I have H work. If I wanted to change that to a common drive, I would put N:, if I wanted to put to my N drive. If there was a folder within my N drive, then I would type the folder name after.
In Target?
In Target, yes, yes.
Okay, I've got all kinds of things in here, but...
It's at the very end.
Oh, explore.exe space, and then I should put N?
Yep,
That's where I
N:.
want it to go? Oh, I see.
Yep. If you take out that space, if you change anything prior to that H drive or N drive or C drive, whatever's displaying, you're gonna lose everything on what you're gonna open. Who knows where it's gonna take you? So just make sure you're changing just the drive letter and adding a folder if you want to.
I have to ask a really stupid question, Brenda. Where's Properties?
Okay.
Bottom of the right click and then at the very bottom.
You need to type in Windows down here. So in the lower right hand corner, start typing Windows.
Yeah, you've done that. I'll close out
Okay.
of it and start it again. Okay. As soon as I type in a W, it shows up as the second one down.
Okay, the right click on that.
Okay, and then choose Properties.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
And this is the shortcut tab, right?
No, now what's going to happen is when I do my open, it's going to take me right to my documents. If I had changed that to the N drive, then it would open up straight to my N drive. So whenever you go File, Open, it's going to open up your location. Let's see. Whenever you go into Windows Explorer, here, let's do it that way. So when I click on Windows Explorer,
No, mine is not.
it's supposed to take me to the...
Didn't open the right dialog.
C drive.
It didn't. All right, let's try this again.
Close that.
Is it just
Start it again.
I have two Windows Explorers I'm seeing when I pop that in.
I noticed that
Oh,
too.
no, it's not right. Just going...
I'm going to change it to the same.
Well, you know, for me it probably doesn't matter because I use H and S all of those and C, so I probably don't want to.
And that didn't work either.
Not opening the dialog box. When you right click. Just hover over that. Open the Internet Explorer. Yeah, no, right click.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Try it on.
Okay, there it went.
Oh, at that time. Okay.
It went that time. Okay, so just to repeat what we're doing is whenever you open up Windows Explorer, it's going to open up into a certain drive and possibly folder. So mine was set to H:work, my documents. Some are set to C:, some are set to maybe N:, but mainly it's going to be your C:, or your H drive. So whenever I open up Windows Explorer, whatever folder you want to be your default is where you're going to change it. So from the Start menu, just to repeat, I'm going to type in Windows Explorer. Notice when I type that in, I have two folders. I had to go in and change the location to both of those. So when I go to the first one, right click, go to Properties. Here I have HWork. If I wanted to change that, this is where I could change it. I changed my other one to this, it was on C and I changed that to work. So again, I'm going to just start typing in Windows. Now I'm going to right click on the second one. Why there is two, I have no idea. I'll click Apply and OK. So if you have to change both of those, I guess that's what we're going to have to do for some reason. If you work with that and you're still having problems, just let me know. Okay. How do I change defaults in Word, Excel, and other applications? If you've noticed in Word, you've probably started typing, hit enter, and then had what looked like a double space. If any of you changed it to, have you guys had that problem?
What was it?
When you hit enter in Word, does it double space for you?
No.
Not unless previously in the document I'd been doing it, then it thinks it should do it again.
That's not enough for me.
Notice when I hit enter, it goes down 2 spaces. Okay? So what you would do probably first is you'd want to check to make sure your line spacing is on single. From my Home tab, in my paragraph grouping, here is my line and paragraph. Okay, well, it's set to 1.5, so I'm going to change it to 1. Notice it still looks like I have a double space in there, even though I have it set to 1. Okay? In this little right-hand corner, in the lower right-hand corner, click on that little arrow, and that's going to bring up our dialog box that was really familiar in 2002. What Microsoft does is right in this area, see where they have 10-point after? So what that means is after I hit enter, it's automatically going to put in a 10-point space. What that means is if I have a letter size 10-point, that's as much space as it's going to put between the two rows. So I'm going to change that to 0. So my spacing before and after needs to be at 0, and my line spacing single. And then what I can do is I can set that as my default. Set as the default, it's going to ask me for just this document or all documents based on the normal template. I want this to apply to all of my documents, so any new document I create will automatically be the single spaced. Click OK, and now it is single spaced.
How do you know what the points mean? How do you know?
It's
10
just,
points?
if I have a font size, it's just the font size. So if I have, notice this is size 11. See how much space size 11 takes up?
Yeah,
So it's going to, if it was 11, that's how much space it's going to take up in between.
I see. Okay.
Okay?
Did everyone get
So
that?
it really is just like another line.
It's just like another line.
So if you had a size 18 font, it would be that
18.
much space.
Okay, well that makes sense. I always looked
Yep.
at that and didn't know what that meant.
Yep, so here, let me just give you an example. If I change this to 18 point, I'm not going to change my default, I'm just going to change just for this example.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
And notice I'm still on
1, yep.
a single space.
Will that do that? It seems like I've ran into finding that when I cut and paste something. I'll paste something in there where I've got single
Yeah,
spaces, then all of a
I
sudden
agree.
I've got it like that.
I've got all these extra.
Yeah.
this
So
empty
then if you
space.
format it like that and then just say for this document only, or do you have to
Yeah,
do
but
that?
I would probably set your default to be completely on all documents to be a single space with the zero
So then
size.
how do you correct that when you've got something like this in the middle of?
It should format it correctly. When you paste something into the Word document, you're going to get a little paste options button. So if I copy this, and I'm just going to do a paste here. Notice I have this little paste options.
Well,
There's a couple options here where you can
Yeah.
keep the source formatting
Oh yeah, I've used that.
or you can merge formatting. So if I had document A copying text into document B, let's say document A was using Arial and document B was using Times New Roman. I wanted the information in 8 that I was copying, I would want that to paste into as Times New Roman. So then I would select the merge formatting.
What happens on mine when I use that, Brenda, if I just hover over those options, it demonstrates what it
Yep,
would look like.
it'll
for
give
me.
you the live preview
It's very cool.
of exactly what it'll look like.
of what what's highlighted.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So if you copy that, you've got that in there now. If you change yours back to single and paste it in there. See, that's what I'm talking about when you. Okay. I see.
So then I merge the formatting.
Now, did you have a double space in there where that double space is now, or?
No, because this is my new paste. So I pasted it before I changed it back to
but then
0.
You just redid it,
Yep.
You copied it.
but
before
there's
you
still a
pasted
double
it. Yeah.
space above that. Is that something?
Yes, I put that in.
That was in there.
Yes. Yes. This space right here.
Yeah.
Yes, I did put that one in.
Okay.
So, but a lot of people just dismiss these little paste options, those little smart tags, and they're very useful.
What does the A stand for?
Sometimes
Just
they
text
stay
only.
there and they cover up what you're trying to read.
That's what I was doing. I'm like,
Go
what's in the
I
way? I don't know
know.
what that thing is.
Yep.
But
So make sure you use those. Those are handy. All right, so that's how you can change the defaults in Word. I showed you just the paragraph where you can set your default here. But you can also, if you wanted to change your font default, you would go to this grouping and this arrow in the lower right-hand corner. You bring that dialog box up, and your set as default is in the lower left-hand corner. But you would want to make your changes first. I had one office that they used Times New Roman size 12 on everything, everybody in the office. So that's one thing that they did is changed it so that everybody was consistent. Change that default. Okay. In Excel, it's a little bit different. If I want to change my default, right now I'm at Arial and 10. So if I started typing, it's going to be Arial 10. If I want to change the default, instead of going to my little dialog box that I did in Word, you'll notice there's no set defaults. Okay? So I found that one under File, Options. On the General tab, I have set Arial Narrow, size 10. If I wanted to change this to, let's go, Cambria, size 12, I just click OK. So then it tells me that for this to take effect, I must quit and then restart Microsoft Excel. I click OK. I close. I'll open Excel back up. Now when I start typing, it's Cambria 12. So that's where you can change it.
That'll change for all of them now.
And that changes for all the worksheets. Yep, that changes for all. Those are the two that I put on your reference sheet. If any of you want to know how to do in any other application, send Janet an email, and if you would forward that on, that would be great. These are the two most frequently used programs, so I thought I would show you those two. All right. So on your little worksheet, I have the instructions for Microsoft Word and for Microsoft Excel. When I was looking at the PowerPoint, you do need to go into File Options for that one. So that's where you're going to start for PowerPoint. All right, next question. Can I still copy paste from Word or email into Faces? You guys are going to answer that for me. Is that possible? I don't work in Faces. Have you guys been
I don't
able?
think that's any different. I haven't tried it, but I don't imagine that's going to be a problem to be able to do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because Faces is a web-based.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So you should still be able to copy and paste from Word into Faces and email into Faces. Is there a way to convert a table to text? Yes, there is. And this was a fun one for me because I forgot we could do this. So I have the instructions for you on your little worksheet. But I'm going to demonstrate this. Here I have a table, and it includes 3 columns, 5 rows, and I want to convert this to just text. Notice when I have the table selected, I have clicked inside the table. When I've clicked inside the table, you'll see this little icon right up here. When you see that icon, you know your table is selected. If I click out of the table, he's gone until I move my cursor up here. And then I can either click on that to select the whole table, or I can just click within the table. So you just want to make sure your table is selected. Notice when my table isn't selected, I do not have a contextual tab up here. Notice when I select in the table, now I have my table tools. Okay, so this is my object, and for every object you insert, you're going to have a separate contextual menu that comes up. So we're going to go to the Layout tab. On our Table Tools Layout tab, on the very end of that tab, there's a button called Convert to Text. So I'm going to select Convert to Text, and it's going to ask me, how do you want to separate the text? Do you want tabs in between? Do you want commas, or do you want something else? I'm going to show you what tabs looks like. So here I have gotten rid of the table grid and the formatting. I'm going to undo so I can get my table back. If I go to Layout, Convert Text, and select commas, I can click OK. And now I have commas separating my text. Okay. All right.
I noticed there was another option on there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we were in Word.
So you could put dashes in there, or
There's tabs, paragraph marks. Let's do spaces or other, and let me put in just a space and click OK. and that just puts a single space.
So that's, you decide what's going to go there.
You can decide what's going to go there.
Interesting.
And if you don't want any of these three and you want something else, so let me see if I put a dash. I click OK, and then that'll put a dash in between everything. So,
But is the table format still in the background? If you typed anything in there? Nope.
You'd have to save it in that new format. Is that
well,
You could go reverse and
you
convert
can
that
go
to
reversed.
table.
Oh, yeah,
Then it will
I
ask
suppose.
you, do you have commas or tabs or
That
whatever?
makes
and
sense.
you'll do it.
So let's see if I can find, let's do commas. And then I have that selected. Now you guys are going to quiz me on where I can change that back to a table. Right here. So on my insert, my table, convert text to table. How many columns do I want? It already put a default of 3 and
That would be
5,
correct because
which
it was
is,
the information.
yes. Do I want a fixed column width? I can say auto. I could put in a certain fixed width that I want. How do I want to separate the text? Or how am I going to know? It's going to be commas. So it's going to separate the text at every comma. I click OK. I now have my table. Now if I select my table,
I do that.
here I can go into
that
my
well.
design, and now I can pick a different table style and format it however I want. So you can go back and forth.
Okay, show me where that was again. I know I've done it, but I can't remember where.
Under insert,
They're in different. The
Insert tab,
insert. Okay, and then
Table.
table. Okay.
Table.
Yeah. Okay.
and then
Insert
down
table.
below is
Yeah.
convert text to
Okay.
table.
Yeah.
yep. So it's hidden a little bit.
They used to be at the same spot. You know, one of them. Right
But
up.
see, when I click in this object, it's no longer a table,
Yeah.
so my contextual menu doesn't pop up because it's just reading it as text. So that's the trick on that one. Okay. All right. The next group of questions are all dealing with Outlook, and I'm going to cover those, and then I'm just going to share a little bit more information about Outlook, and then I'll open it up if anybody else has any questions. Then we'll take extra questions at that point. So, how do I share my calendar? One thing that they have done in Outlook is they've really made things easy to find and to change. They put a lot of the information right in front of you. So here I have Outlook open. I have my navigation pane over here in the lower right. So I want to navigate to my calendar. And now when I look at my home tab, I have all this information up there. I have open calendar, email the calendar, share calendar. So I want to share it. This is where I'm going to go. And it's actually, this is a new feature because before, in the old version, when you wanted to share your calendar, you would have to give them the permissions and then let them know, either by an email or call them or see them in the hallway and say, hey, I added you, however. But now you can actually send an email. So who do you want to send this to? Who is it that you're going to share your calendar with? So I'm going to share mine with Janet. So I'm going to put her in the 2. I'm going to click OK. Now, what do I want her to have the capabilities of? I just want her to have availability only. You could give limited details or full details. So I'm going to choose availability only. And I have this checked, allow recipient to view your calendar. And the other thing that it has is request permission to view her calendar. So if I wanted to do an exchange and I wanted to view hers as well, then I would check that. In this case, I don't need to, so I'm just going to uncheck availability. If I wanted to send her a note, I can do that. And then I can click send. Confirms. And now it sends her a message. So when she gets back, she'll have a message. Okay? So what is she going to do? Then she can go ahead and click Open Calendar from Address Book. So if I was Janet right now, she could type in my name. She would go Calendar and then click OK. Now I'm in my own calendar, so I doubt this will work. Actually, it does. So there is my calendar that comes up. The other nice thing about when you share a calendar, you can show multiple. I'm going to reduce that in size. So here I have two calendars side by side. I have me side by side. If I want, and notice how it puts my name here under shared calendars. So now you will have access to that person's calendar all the time. I can uncheck it and the name stays there. If I wanted to see what was going on in my computer lab, I could check that and now I can see the two bits of information here. Also, what's nice is if I wanted to copy and paste, if I wanted to copy this presentation over, let me bring up a week. Okay, so here I have the Becker Hansen Computer Lab calendar, and I have my own personal. If I wanted to take this appointment and move it into, copy it into my Becker Hansen Computer Lab, anytime I want to copy, I'm going to hold my control key down and click and drag.
Yeah. So it's that same concept of moving.
Yep. Let's see, I'm getting... Okay, so I must have lost connection somehow with the server. But that's how you would be able to do that.
You can do the copy, or can you also do
Move it.
the other click on your mouse where you...
When I right click, these are the options I get.
Could you just do a copy and paste?
Yep. Yep.
That's what I'm most used to.
Yep. So copy isn't visible here, so I use the keyboard command, Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Better delete that before I get confused when Wednesday comes. All right, so Open Calendar is up here from Address Book. Share Calendar is also right up here. I'm on the Home tab in Calendar. You can do calendar groups. What's nice about calendar groups, and this isn't one of the questions, but I do want to show you how to do a calendar group. This is where if I had a group of people that I wanted to have access to view their calendar, so in my situation, if I wanted to have access to all of my coworkers, if I wanted to be able to see their calendar, I can go calendar groups and I can create a new calendar group. I'm going to type a name. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and find my coworkers. So I'll just do a couple of them. Click OK. So now I have them selected. Let me uncheck these. over here. Notice how it puts me in a schedule view. I can change that. After you have so many calendars selected, it'll put it in the schedule view where it's horizontal view. If I want to change this back to a day view, I can just go up to my ribbon and enter in day view, my work week, and however I want. Okay, what's nice about this is when you put in a grouping, you can collapse the grouping. So that little arrow allows me to collapse it so I don't have the clutter of all of those names. Also on my shared calendars, I can collapse that as well. But if I was looking for Todd, I can easily check his name and see his availability. Now the other thing, Todd hasn't given me permissions to view his calendar. So, but you can view anybody's calendar. You're only going to be able to view what they decide their out of office is going to be. So when I create a new appointment, or I should say availability, what their availability is. So whatever they have marked in this area right here, free, tentative, busy, or out of office, that's the color code I'm going to see. And so if I see the purple, I'll know he's out of office. If I see the blue, I know he's busy. Now, another thing that I want to point out, if you have given someone access to your calendar, and maybe you want them to view everything, but there might be a certain appointment that you don't want them to see, you can mark all of your appointments, you can mark them as private. And it's the little padlock, it's kind of hidden up here, but I'm going to click that as private.
There's still a privacy option on there.
Yep, it's this one right here. Yep, the little padlock. I'm going to save and close. So now I have a doctor appointment here in this corner. It shows that I have marked it private.
I think you can also right click, go in there, just go in there and right click, and then you can make it private. That's what I've done before.
Okay. So if you forget, that's a good point.
So what will they see then? If I was trying to see something, what will they see for that
Private
time
appointment.
slot?
It'll just say private appointment. But you'll be able to see the hour that I'm gone or the hour and a half that I'm gone.
Okay, but it'll always say private.
It'll always say private appointment. Yep.
Yeah, I use that quite a bit. It's convenient.
Okay. All right, so we covered a couple of things here. The open calendar, our calendar groups. You can also delete those calendar groups if you wanted to. Just right click on the grouping. So if I wanted to remove my grouping that I just created, I right click on that group and delete. If I wanted to add somebody's calendar, I could. If I wanted to rename it, you have all of those group options there. Confirm the deletion, and now it's gone. Okay, so again, here are the steps. Open calendar from the address book right here, and that's how you're going to open a calendar. What is the quick step feature and how can I use it? That's a really good question. The quick steps are basically one-click shortcuts that apply multiple actions. Okay, so if I wanted to move a message into a specific folder, if I had an email and I wanted to move it into my folder, I could right-click that email and say move to and select my folder. Or I could click and drag it over to my folder. I can create a quick step that would, just by one click, it would automatically move it in. So I don't have to worry about possibly getting it into the wrong folder if I click and drag, or a right click and selecting the folder is more than a couple of clicks. So this allows me to do a one click. This is another example of how to use a quick step. address a mass email to the same group of contacts. So every week, let's say you have an email that needs to go out to a certain group, and it's the same every week. Maybe the subject is the same or just a little different. Or maybe it's just one person that you're sending the same type of email to. You can create a quick step for that, so it'll automatically create the email, address it, put in a subject line. You can have it even put in text if you want. Okay? So on your worksheet, I have the steps. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. From Outlook, I'm going to go back to my mail. So I'm going to navigate back to my inbox. And here are my quick steps right up here. There's just a little grouping for those quick steps. And you can see I have some already selected or created. When I click on this lower right-hand arrow, this is going to open up my Manage Quick Steps. So just this little button will allow you to open this. From here, I can create new steps. I can edit any existing steps that I have. So let's say at the beginning of every week, we always send our weekly schedule to our coworkers. So if I wanted to send an email, I'm going to find one here. Here's one that I use, and this is creating a new message. So this is the type of action that I want to use. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate this quick step. So I'm going to hit duplicate. I'm going to type weekly email. It's a new message. Who do I want to send this to? I'm going to delete out the person that I had duplicated. I'm going to find my training staff. I'm going to click to. I can click OK. Now I'm going to show the options. My subject, I'm just going to put week of. And then if I want, then when I bring up this quick step, then I can just fill in what week it is. If I wanted to put text in, if I wanted to go Monday, I have all that information in. Now I can finish. So here's my weekly email. It's in my list. I click OK. It adds it up here. So all I have to do now on Monday morning is click weekly email, and I have all of my information in. Looks like there's some text I missed. So I'm going to close this out. Oops. I'm going to go into Manage. Weekly email. Now I'm going to edit. I had some extra text down in the bottom from the one that I duplicated, so I'm going to delete that out. Save. Click OK. Try again. And there I have it. And then I can go ahead and fill it in. Okay, so that's an example of a quick step.
Are there some in there by default?
Hmm?
No, both those columns in that section, quick steps that are already in there.
You're going to find quick steps to move to a folder. So this one is, the action is moving to a folder. You have one that's for a new email message. This one is a forward, so if you're taking emails and forwarding them to a same group of people or one person that you're doing that action over and over, you can set up the forward and the name of who you want to forward that to. This one is another forward. So if I wanted to forward to my manager, I can do it that way. Done. What this is going to do is it's going to mark it complete, move to a folder, and mark as read. So it marks the selected email as complete, moves the email, and marks the email as read. And then there's a reply and delete. What that does, you reply to somebody, you don't need that original, it'll automatically delete it from your inbox. So those are some options that you have.
But how do you know? Let's say you get an email in there. How do you know that that's the email that you're going to want to reply and delete? How do you know that in advance?
That would be up to you. It's the contents of that email. Because when you open it, here, I think I know what you're saying.
You just say, oh, I got a quick set to reply and delete.
Oh.
So here I have one from you.
Somebody
Okay.
or-
I'm going to open it. So if I decide this was one I wanted to reply and delete,
I see. You
I
go
would have it up here.
do reply and delete.
Mhm.
I see. Okay.
So I would reply and delete. I'm replying to you. You know, I'd put that in,
It's a feature for other things, but I mean,
and now
It's gone.
It's gone.
Okay.
Yep. So they're handy. Took me a while to get used to them because it was something new, and
forget that you made them.
well, you forget you made them. You forget that that option is there because it is new. We get set into our old ways, and so it's actually nice, especially moving to folders. I have a Brenda folder. I have the BHR. So I find that now with those, I'm constantly clicking. So any one of these that I wanted to move, I could click there, go to my BHR. It goes to my BHR folder, and it shows that I have one unread message there. So, all right. What else do we got? Here is another one. When I respond to an email, is there a way I can prevent the original email from closing? So our default is when we reply to a message, our original will not be there. So if I open up this email and I want to reply, I can reply. And the original is gone. It's still here, but it closed out that original. What this person is asking is if that original email can stay up. So I'm going to go into File, Options, and I'm going to go to my mail group right here. So I'm going to select Mail. And this is under, you're going to have to scroll down quite a ways, but this is under Replies and Forwards. And what I have checked is Close Original Message window when replying or forwarding. So if I uncheck that, now that original message will stay up. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit Reply. I'm going to click Send. And it didn't stay up.
Well, that you said when forwarding. Is there a different one from when responding? Because that one was when forwarding.
Okay. Here it is. Thank you. When replying or forwarding. Okay, so this one, when replying to a message, this is the one you want. So you'll want to change this on your quick web. Actually, I will make the change and then, because I'm going to resend this to...
Okay.
Okay. So it's on include.
It's still under Replies and Forwards, Tools, Options, Mail.
Okay.
When replying to a message, it says include original message in the text. Include an indent original. It doesn't look like we can do that. But hold it. I replied to the message.
You did. Close original window with.
I wonder if I have to close out. Let's try that again.
You checked it back on, though,
Did I?
I think. Didn't you? Put the check back in
I
there.
probably did. I did. All right. Thank you. I'm going to close my email. Open it back up. And let's reply.
Still closing it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. My coworkers are going to love me. There.
There it stayed open.
There, it stayed up. What I did on the first one, I clicked reply right here.
Okay.
So you need to open up. You need to open up the email. There's the email.
Reply.
I hit reply. I click send, and that original
Okay.
stays up.
What'd you do
Okay.
wrong the first time?
The first time I hit reply from here.
there.
I didn't open the message.
Oh,
I selected the email and just hit reply right away.
most time it can be open anyways.
Yeah.
And-
Yep.
Okay.
So open the email and then hit reply. All right. All right. So let's just look at that one more time. File options, mail, uncheck under replies and forwards to close the original message. You're going to click OK, and then you're going to restart Outlook to make it change effect. And so that's the step I'll add to that quick reference guide.
Okay.
Okay. In Outlook, how can I make the default address book open my contacts folder? So whenever you click to, it'll open up by default, it'll open up the global address book. A lot of people want their contacts folder, especially when you're dealing with a lot of the constituents. So we're going to actually grab the address book from Outlook. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back into Outlook and make sure that you're in Mail, and on your Home tab, all the way to the right, here's your address book over here. And this is the one that you need to select. From here, I'm going to go Tools, Options. When sending email, what address list do I want to start with? If you want to start with contacts, you can select that. Then, at the bottom, when opening the address book, what address do you want to list first? Brings up all of the address books. Down at the bottom is your Outlook address book. So contacts. So if I go all the way to the top, I'm going to have my global. When I click and go all the way to the bottom, I'm going to have my contacts.
Is there a way to be able to search in here using the first name? I used to search by first name, I thought.
In your contacts folder?
Yeah, and now it's all last name.
You can change that. Let's see if I can.
Are you talking in the global or your contacts?
No, mine. Pretty sure I
I've
used to
noticed.
just type their first name and then it would come up. Instead, I have to think what their last name is. It's just easier for
I've
me.
noticed that.
And I'm.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I've noticed that when I'm creating an email, like I email Marilyn Hanson more than I do John Hanson. And what I've noticed is when I am creating an email, if I type in Hanson, Marilyn's name comes up first now instead of John. J is before M in the alphabetical order, but Marilyn comes up first now, and it's like it knows she's somebody that I
So
email
the
more often.
Last one you did, you probably do
Yeah.
one email to John, then the next time
Yeah.
John would probably be first.
I don't know how.
I don't know. It might be the number of emails that you send to that person.
Yeah,
That's something I should test though.
it's really a handy feature. It's like I know it's remembering that I email her more than I do John. John's name is still on there, but Marilyn comes up first, which is handy for me.
Okay. The question is, how can I change so that when I'm searching, let me go into a search here.
I think it was under file and options
See.
and contacts.
Is this where you're searching, Rhonda?
No, just when I come up with when I go to address book and the search right there, I've got a lot in my contacts automatically come up, and I've got a lot of contacts, so I like to search on that it says name only or more columns.
Yep.
And the name is always, like, now, our conference room A, I used to just type in DHS, and then I could find DHS conference room A or DHS conference room large. Well, now they're totally separate because now it's A, comma, DHS conference room, and the other one is large.
That's what she's looking for.
Okay, then I'm wondering if this is what you need to do. Under View, when you go into Contacts, go into your Contacts, and then click View, and then Change View. And
Am I
then,
in my address book, or
nope, you're in Contacts.
I'm not sure where you are, I guess.
In your navigation down here, we have Mail, Calendar, and Contacts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I never use this.
Go there.
Starved to that guy start.
Okay.
using that.
View, Change View, Manage Views. View,
Manage views. Okay.
and when you go to, when you're looking at your address cards, you can modify that. So I'm going to select Modify. And this is what I would look for. On the sort, how is it sorting?
File as,
I wonder if you change that to first name.
first name, then by,
You could go last name then if you wanted. I would try that and see if that works for you.
okay.
Okay. Right. How do I update a name and email address on a listserv in my address book? If I understand this question correctly, what the question is so if you have a grouping, let's see if I can find one here. So I have a group email here. That's not going to be a good one to use.
That was my question, and I have a big listserv of interpreters that I send information out to on a regular basis. And every once in a while, I have to change a mailing address, or I have to change a phone number. And I went in there the other day to try to update an email address in there, and I could not get it to take.
Is it in this area right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So are all of these people in your contacts folder?
No, not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily. Then what you're going to have to do, if they're not in your contact folder here,
Yeah.
the individual, because what you would do is you would go to that individual and you would change that information in there.
Okay.
Okay? Then you would go back into your grouping and then update now.
Okay.
Okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to remove that member
Oh, jeez.
and add them.
Now that's a bad feature because the old way you could just go in
Edit
there
it.
and
Edit it.
Yes,
Yep.
that's a bad feature. I am sorry, that's a bad one.
Yep.
Do not like that one. So you have to delete the old one and then put it in
Yep.
all.
So
brand
what
new
I
again.
would do is, if you only have to, if it's not in your contacts folder, that individual name was not in your contacts folder,
Okay.
then you would have to remove the name from here
Okay.
and then add that person to your contacts, add that individual name to your contacts. And
But
then,
I don't want those individual names in my contacts
then
because they're not people that
Okay.
that I would. I just only want them on a listserv. I do not want them in my.
then you would do add members, new email contact.
There's no way to edit that, huh? Wow.
Not that I have found.
Wow. Okay.
And if anybody proves me wrong, please let me know. But these are the options that we have. Add members, remove, update.
Well, wouldn't that be it? Update a member? Try
No,
to
because you
compare the last
haven't,
member?
it doesn't know what you're trying to change.
Before you could highlight that person and then go in and edit it. And then save changes.
Let's see if I have a different. So, did you try double clicking on it?
Yeah, I tried everything.
Okay.
I actually was able to go in there and change it, but it would never save it.
Yeah. Then I would
Delete it, huh?
I would add it from add members, new email contact. Type in their name and their email address.
Okay.
And you could just do a copy and paste. And then click OK and then delete their old.
All right. Dang.
I know. I know. That one's no fun.
No, that one's not. So I'll put no way.
But if they are in your contacts folder, then you can update that contact and then update.
Which they're not going to be because I have over like 80 to 90 of them and I'm not going to have them all in my address book. Okay.
Yep. This is another question. How do I create a new contact group? So if you have one, if you need to create a new one, let me go back into my mail. All right. So I need to create a new group. First, you need to be in your contacts. And up in the upper right-hand corner, you have new contact and new contact group. So here's where you would select new contact group. Type in the name. And then start adding your members. So if the members were from your contacts, you can choose from your contacts. If your members are from the address book, you could add them there. Or if they're not in either one, you can just do a blank new email contact and type in their information. And then you would save and close. Okay? Okay, any other questions that you might have?
I have a question.
Yes.
In my mail, I used to, and I still kind of, have rules for when, depending on who I'm getting an email from, I have them color coded. Like from Grady, it's red, so it gets my attention. That's all messed up, and I don't know how to fix it.
Okay.
I'm getting all kinds of blue that I never
Sad, huh?
told it to, and this person, this person I've never gotten an email from that's blue. I'm getting blue and black and red coming in. That's
You can always right click and go to the rules.
Rules. Create a rule.
And then go to manage. Rules and alerts. Is that rule showing up at all?
Create a rule.
No, under manage rules.
I don't know what you mean by managed rules.
Oh,
It's
you gotta
one
close.
of the
There's an
options.
option. Close out of there. Right click.
Right click here.
On the email, go to tools.
Go to tools. Where's that?
Isn't it tools?
You told me rules.
Rules.
Oh, manage rules and alerts. Oh, I must have clicked on the wrong one. Oh, okay. And then
Is there a rule for that person?
I don't. It says clear categories on email. Check recommended. Rule.
Try this one then. Close out of there. You still have that email selected. That has the...
Yeah, still blue.
Okay. Now go up to your View tab. And then View Settings. Conditional formatting. Is it set up in there?
Not really. The font is 8-point Comic Sans MS and it's black. I don't know.
Okay. I'll look
We
at
can
that.
go over it later.
Yeah, we'll go over that later. Any other questions?
Do any of the district offices have any questions for Brenda? No one?
Still there.
Okay, Brenda, go on.
All right. Well, I think that's about all I have. The only other thing is on your Outlook. When I first got Outlook installed, I was scared because there was so much clutter. I couldn't stand all the clutter. We have our navigation bar over here, then you got your emails, and there was a preview pane, and then there was this column. And so the first thing I did is I customized the view as fast as I could because it was driving me nuts. So when you click on the View tab in Outlook, here's your layout. And this is the area that I went to first and decided to change. The People pane, if you have a lot of silhouettes from people in the emails, you can go off and you can go in and turn those off so you don't see that black silhouette of nobody. Exactly. Okay, so there's the three sections. We have our navigation pane, and that's this area right over here. This is where you're going to navigate. So if you wanted to go into your calendar, you're going to go to your calendar here. If you wanted to go to a certain email folder, you'll navigate here. Couple of the things that we can do to customize is notice there's a check mark on favorites, and Microsoft has created a favorites section that includes sent items, deleted items, and inbox. And if there was a folder that you were constantly moving things into, maybe you're working on a project and you have a folder for that project, you can add a favorite there. So you can see I have a couple of favorites that I'm using. All I would have to do is right click and show in favorites. So if you wanted to do that, you could. And then it shows up there. If I want to remove it, remove from favorites. Okay. Also, you can resize this, so you can change that. If you don't want your favorites, you can uncheck, and that gets rid of it there. Also, this little area down here, you can increase or decrease on what you want to see. Your middle section, you can put in the reading pane. Right now I have mine off. You can put it to the right. You can put it to the bottom. I prefer mine off, less clutter. Okay, and then you have your to-do bar. Right now you can see ours is minimized, but these are some areas that it's going to have. So if you use your tasks and your calendar, you can have your appointments and your task list show up. So I'm going to expand this. I can see my information. I can minimize it. If I decide I don't want to see my task list, I could uncheck that. I could uncheck my date navigator, and then I just see my appointments. So this section right here is one that I do like and that I went in and did a lot of customization to. So
Another thing on your sent folder, a lot of times I'll go into my sent folder and look for an email I may have sent 3 months ago.
right.
And I noticed that it pairs all your emails like if...
Conversation.
Well, conversation, I would say it pairs them by person, not conversation.
You can change that.
That's a setting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you can, whenever you open up your sent mail, you can sort it by any one of these. So if you want to put in date order, but I'm wondering, is this what you're talking about?
Well, like you got Ellen Zeller there. If I'd sent Ellen Zeller 40 emails, her name would come up, and then you have to click on a little square box, and it pulls all the emails you sent to her.
Okay, so then you have
it
yours.
categorizes it,
You have a setting. Let's see if I can
and it's pretty nifty.
group by. That didn't work.
No, because mine are all separated almost by a line.
I've seen it
almost.
like that too, but I don't see it.
And it
now.
was it's good. Because sometimes you'll look forever trying to find a certain email,
Yeah.
and if you just have it categorized by the person that you sent it to,
That's what I love that fine. Keep it in there and then pull it right out.
I wonder if it'll do this one. I can't get mine to do that. But it's got to be, if you want that to happen, I'll try and figure out what it is.
hit it to 2. Hit it to 2 once. Highlighted by, no, the 2 button.
Here?
There you go. See, you have it.
Oh, there. What
Yeah.
did I do?
You hit 2. Hit the 2. No, not there. Down. There you go. Now. There you go.
There.
And see, if you hit that little down arrow to the side, then it'll bring up all the emails that you sent to that particular person.
Yep.
That's
Why
a
is
nice feature.
Yeah. What is the, sometimes when I'm in email, I notice I have my views similar to yours, but for instance, in the lower portion, let's say there's I do like to have the preview window open in
Okay.
the bottom half, but up in the right-hand corner of that bottom half, there's a previous button and a next button. What is that?
To go to the next email.
Oh, I've tried clicking on it. It didn't really make sense to me.
Let's see if I can do this.
It's right in that area where you
It's
have
right
your
here?
cursor at right now, yeah.
I would think it would take you to the next one. But it didn't, huh?
Didn't seem to. I just couldn't quite make sense out of it.
Let me see if I can't recreate that.
Or if there's a, there's got to. It seems like there's must be a benefit to it. I just
I
couldn't
would think
figure
so.
out what it was.
Okay, I'll look that one up.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
How about in the field office? Does anyone have any other questions? And right now, not all of our field office staff have their
Okay.
Windows installed on their computers. So in the future, if we're having a lot of questions, you can filter them to Brenda or through me. Or if it looks like we have a lot of questions out there, maybe we could have Brenda back, you know, after all of this is completed. But for right now, if you have any questions, just send them to me, and maybe we can start another list, and she can answer them in the same fashion she did here. So,
Absolutely.
does anybody else have anything else here in the room? All right.
All right. Well, thank
Well,
you.
it looks like we're going to end a little early today. Thank you, Brenda, for coming
Welcome.
again.
Thank you.
Go ahead and shut your systems down, and I will cancel the bridge so that everyone's system goes down. But for right now, make sure you mute your systems before you shut your TV off. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. All right. Mute myself.